Hey, everybody. It's time. I know the long wait. It's been like, what, a week since I posted the community Q&A question. Wait, a week? Oh, it's been a bit longer than that. Sorry about that. One of the things is just things kind of snowballed, and I get overwhelmed real easy. But we're finally here. Okay, we don't have to worry about that anymore. It's time. It's Q&A time. I had Steve, thank you, Steve, go through and curate a ton of questions from the community posts. I'm just gonna fly down this list and answer as many as I can, and we'll do what we can to hopefully please the people. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go section by section. Questions we're gonna be talking about first are the future state of YouTube, streaming in general, and what it's like being here. First question comes from OMW2FYB_19. Says, has YouTube said anything about giving a free membership to folks who have YouTube Premium? That would be pretty cool, which I 1000% agree with. It would be really cool. My fear is that I think YouTube Premium versus like Amazon Prime, they give a different tier of benefits. They're just different size things. I think the cross comparison between YouTube Premium and what Amazon Prime offers, they're difficult to compare directly. That being said, of course, I've suggested a number of times that YouTube Premium should come with a free membership once every 30 days, just like Twitch Prime or Prime Gaming now does. It will be hugely beneficial, I'm sure, to content creators across the board on YouTube, as well as encouraging people to both look at the YouTube Premium product and just YouTube streaming in general. But as of right now, I haven't heard anything positive back about it. But that's one I'll always champion as often as I can. Misclick Gaming asks, when is gifting going to be a thing? Membership gifting is here already, which I'm super thankful for. Batmaster86 says, does YouTube provide a way to view all the clips created on a channel/video? This is another thing that I just recently had a conversation with YouTube about out at the summit a week or two ago before recording this, and said, hey, one of the things about clips that I love on the Twitch side that is not over on the YouTube side is the clips just kind of get lost in the ether as soon as they're created if you don't hold on to that link. Thankfully, I've been told that's a thing that they know and are working on, so I'm excited to see what the next iteration of clips looks like. They have plans, stuff that I've suggested. Imagine like a list of them underneath the VOD while you're watching based on the number of views they've gotten. You could tie them back to the video itself, that kind of thing. And as it is right now, I think the product is, this is kind of like their first version of clipping on YouTube. So I know that there is work being done. I don't have a time frame for that, sadly. Joshua says, I've never understood this platform's organization when it comes to gaming and streaming specifically. It's navigability. Dude, why can I not pronounce that word? The navigation is trash. I'm just gonna say that. I wish I could just open it and check out who's live that I'm subscribed to and be able to effortlessly search others. I'm here for your content, but fam, it is a pain in the butt. The search and discovery portion of YouTube, I think a lot of people have issue understanding because I think they come from a Twitch side of things. On Twitch, it's literally just sort highest viewers to lowest viewers, and then you look that way as far as just within the directory. That being said, in order to actually find the channels and the games and that kind of thing, the problem is that YouTube is not just live stream content, it's everything. YouTube is quite literally, you name it, you could probably find it on YouTube. Because of that, there are certain things that are prioritized over others. Obviously, the live streaming, especially gaming, is becoming more of a focus for them as they bring more of us on board over on the YouTube side. You got to remember when you watch through this, and I know this stinks, believe me, but you have to wait for the speed of Google to do or implement any change. If it impacts the entire UI for the whole site, typically they have to go through and QA test it on every different language, every different platform, every different browser, and it has to, they like homogeny. They like it to look the same across the board. And so if they implement a change that's just for live or just for gaming that doesn't reflect across the entire site, I think they kind of shy away from that. Believe me when I say, Joshua, your concerns are heard. I have expressed those same frustrations, I think, as well as every other content creator that live streams video games on YouTube. But it's a thing that I just kind of I have to wait and see what they decide to implement and how they decide to implement it. I know it's kind of stinks. My best bet to tell you is go down to that bottom left corner of the main page, start down there in the gaming section, and then it should become a little more familiar. It should feel a little bit more like you're on Twitch or wherever you happen to watch live gaming content. Next up, personal feelings or thoughts. We'll start with One Shot Girl, who says, what are you most excited about when it comes to streaming on YouTube? The biggest thing for me right now is the quality of audio and video that I can put out. There's one thing that I have become accustomed to, someone who occasionally pops between Twitch streams and YouTube streamers, stuff like that, and checking the quality of video that I see on other platforms, like other people that stream on YouTube, is that there is a massive drop off. It's difficult for Twitch to run true 1080p at high enough bit rate without the creator themselves having to have insane hardware. I mean, that was one of the reasons that I was able to produce at least relatively decent, like looking at Tarkov is, it looks very blocky and distorted sometimes, especially if there's like a lot of pushes, a lot of movement. And watching even my old Twitch stuff back after the fact, you can tell that there's pixelation and artifacting and stuff like that. And the quality when moving over here to YouTube has been immaculate. It's 1440, even 4K when we can stream in 4K without having to worry about, the thing about 4K is like you have to worry about chat interaction because the delay is so much longer than anything else. It's like 20 to 30 seconds. That's pretty bad, which is too bad because with pre-recorded stuff, 4K is great. It's like phenomenal. All my stuff now on the second channel is all 4K. It all looks amazing. But for live, we've kind of found that 1440p is kind of the go-to, and we can stream at 25 megasecond, which is, the quality is really, really good. Danime Cafe, the question here says, hi, Lupo, simple question. What's the difference between platforms for you as a creator? How is one better than the others? As I said right there, I think a big benefit that YouTube has is the quality. The other side of that, though, is the inter-channel connectivity. Right now is something that I brought up. On Twitch, we have like, you can use people's emotes in other channels. We have squad streaming and stuff like that. The rating system is a lot easier, I think, on Twitch right now. Redirecting on YouTube is getting better. But as a whole, there's growth on the YouTube side that makes me really, really excited. Australia says, what was it that scared you the most for your move to YouTube? After a few streams of those fears were solved, I know you briefly mentioned the anxiousness you felt prior and the slight maybe fear of the unknown on the side of streaming. I'm going to be 100% authentic, real with you, Australia, on this one. The thing that scares me the most about moving to YouTube is, I think, being forgotten or disappearing. We've talked about kind of discoverability before this, and if there's not a content boom at the time, on Twitch, I still felt like I had an opportunity to grow and put up good numbers because people would just go to the game they want to watch, they sort high to low, and then that's it. I think the weight on YouTube falls more on the creator themselves to have a good title, a good thumbnail that's going to get people to click in, and just doing a good job of kind of advertising yourself on whatever social media platforms you have. I think the problem that I'm experiencing right now is my content blew up during the Fortnite days. And when I started to step away from Fortnite and I went big time into Tarkov, changing games is always kind of it's a risk, right? It's a risk that you have to take. And I do have a big love and appreciation for Escape from Tarkov and the depth that the game has and how intense it can be. But a big piece of the puzzle has to do with the audience that you bring along with you when you change games. And the translation between Fortnite and Tarkov is difficult. And so, I mean, even we've seen some trends right now. I think the trend for me is a little bit downward, and that's tough. It's tough to not get in your own head about those things. But my hope is there's going to be another game. As of recording this video, I think in a month is when Modern Warfare 2 comes out, which is great. And hopefully we can lean into that content big time. DMZ is going to be really good, I hope. And just multiplayer in general was a lot of fun to play. I think that is a huge piece of the puzzle, is like figuring out the next step along the way. So here's to hoping. I'm going to put my all into it, and hopefully on the other side, when we come out, it's good stuff that people want to watch. Dillborn asks, do you think you'll ever be able to leave behind the legacy of Pepega, or will the Dolphins continue to haunt chat on this platform too? I didn't kill those Dolphins, man. Why is the Dolphin friggin' dying? Dillborn, come on, bro. CHRG 2002, I think Chris G 2002 says, what is the one thing you wish you could change/update about the platform? As funny as it sounds, and I know that the gaming app on YouTube existed and then was retired, but it would be great to see even just gaming.youtube.com be its own landing platform for the gaming section of YouTube, so that there was a stronger focus for people that are coming in. If you're like, I'm going to go to gaming.youtube.com, and then you're going to see things organized in a similar fashion what people are used to on Twitch, I think that would answer a lot of questions and resolve a lot of pain points that people have. Because the adaptability, being used to the platform that you're coming from, a lot of people watch Twitch, and that's where I was for 6 years. When they come to YouTube, it can be jarring if they don't go right to the side, to your page. And so making that jump easier on people, I think, would be one of the biggest pieces to improve the quality of life for people that want to watch over here. Lovely Smiley Happy asked a question: how has switching to YouTube affected your daily life? Specifically, how much time you spend with your family / self-time off stream? You know, what's funny? This first year down, I didn't treat it really any differently. I still put in a mind-bending number of hours every month. I think I was 200 plus every single month, and that's way above any requirement that they had for me by a long shot. And my hope for that was that if I was live enough, then it would attract enough people to come over and enjoy content on the platform and that kind of thing. But then you look at people like Tina Tatman, who don't stream nearly as many hours. He has limited, actually probably half the hours live per month as I do, and his viewership is significantly higher. And so looking at that, I think the direct correlation there, the takeaway is like, it's not necessarily about hours live. I think it's about the impact of the content itself. And that is the thing that going forward, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to make a schedule change, kind of mix it up and just see what happens. I think it's one of the best things for your mental health too, because putting in the number of hours that I do every single day is tough. It's a lot, and it definitely weighs on my brain a lot. Probably explains why there are some days where maybe I'm a little pissy about something or just seem off, or it's fatigue of sitting here doing this every single day. And I love interacting with you guys. I have a huge appreciation for the people that are here, that listen, that understand the things that I'm going through behind the scenes a little bit, as much as I let on, as well as what's on stream. And we're doing tournament stuff. We're playing different games. We're just kind of enjoying the situation, but I do put a lot of hours in. So I think one of the things going forward I might have to do is shift away from that, even if just as a test, to try and focus more people into a more condensed space. Maybe that'll bump viewership up as a whole. Who knows? News Ninja asked, how does streaming on YouTube differ from Twitch? Mostly looking for things like mod interaction and banning, starting streams, overall UI. Honestly, it's really not terribly different. I think the biggest thing was having to set up the stream beforehand in it's like just a different workflow. As a whole, for me, they really do feel pretty similar. There are certain features like moderation tools that are being developed that will get better over here. But as it is right now, I just hit the button and I'm good to go. Eloli Studios says, how well does YouTube staff listen? I'd like to imagine that I get the feeling that they listen very closely. A lot of the stuff behind closed doors, behind the scenes conversations I've had, I've always felt like they're receptive to the things that I'm saying and our interactions, that kind of thing. Because of that, I feel like I'm being heard. I also don't have any concerns about a move to corporatization in the same fashion that right now we're kind of seeing with Twitch because of Amazon's buyout, because YouTube has always been the way that they are. As long as I can remember, YouTube has been YouTube, right? So there hasn't been really any behind the scenes higher end changes or anything like that. This is just kind of how it is, right? So I definitely feel like they listen. Next up, the next section is plans and future content. I'm very excited to see how things go and what is up next. So let's take a look at what questions you guys have. There's the nuke says, what's the plans for your yearly St. Jude fundraiser event? So each year right now we kind of target two times. One is middle of the year on summer for GCX. Still happens. This year they were very generous in allowing me to both be live on Twitch and the GCX event channel, as well as over here on YouTube simultaneously, which was huge. And a big shout out to YouTube for giving us the chance to do that, because I think if anything, it drove even more viewership and hopefully more money to such a wonderful cause like St. Jude. On top of that, we still do every single year in December, the end of December. It's usually the first week of the weekend right before Christmas. That's the best way to say that. We do Build Against Cancer, and we're still doing that as well. I feel kind of bad because Twitch has supported that wholeheartedly, but I'm excited to see what YouTube will do to work with you on that. YouTube's been very receptive to trying to give us 100% support across the board. It might not be the same level of financial support, and there's reasons for that obviously I think on this video I can't really go into. YouTube is 100% on board. I think they want to kind of make, especially Building Against Cancer, their like flagship thing for the end of the year and kind of the focus of YouTube charity stuff in December. Murphy says, what kind of pre-recorded videos can we expect from you? Stuff like this, Q&A, maybe highlights from stream. And I think a big one is going to be, I'm going to start doing way more like thoughts, impressions, and opinions about upcoming game release stuff. We've started to put out some MW2 content on the second channel. I think that there's going to be a lot more short integration on both main and second. We're taking the shorts channel and we're going to roll that into the main too, which I think is probably smart because the hope is that will elicit more subscriptions, more viewership on both the main and second channel if we have ones that just go nuts. Ginger Ninja said, love you, Loop, and all the content you produce. I love being your member, and that's a little creepy to hear. Personally, I like the 30 minutes to an hour of just chatting in the mornings, like hearing the interactions of chat and answering questions. I think that's the thing I got to do more. I think that stuff goes a long way to community building and that kind of connection between streamer and viewership, which I think is important. So you know what? I think when I get back from this break, I'm heading out of town for a week, starting tomorrow. I think I'm going to start doing that more. I think you're right. Zachary said, will the list of games you play change, or will we expect the same list as usual? Zach, I think the best thing to do is go with the flow of whatever happens to be popping off at the time. If there's anything that captures my eye, we played a couple just really random games. There's been a lot of the mainstays are still going to be there. Tarkov, Fortnite, Call of Duty, that kind of thing. Because that's like the stuff that I enjoy playing, right? But yeah, I think there's always an opportunity. I mean, look at Star Citizen. That kind of came up out of nowhere. Or Elden Ring. Those big ones that have been a ton of fun. I firmly intend to continue doing that as they roll around. I just don't necessarily know. I wish I could predict what was going to be popular and what wasn't. You know what I mean? Yago asked, are you planning on phasing out live streaming in the future? If yes, do you have a timeline in mind? I think ultimately every content creator will go down the path of being done. There's burnout and a level of mental stress that goes into this job. It's not that this job is just so different than anything that I've done in the past. I've done physically demanding stuff. I've done corporate office type stuff. This is an exercise in mental strength in a way that I never really saw coming. Because of that, yeah, inevitably there's going to be a day where I'm like, you know what? I don't think I want to do this anymore. I think I'll eventually owe it to my son to give him as much of my time as possible. The other side of that, though, especially right now, and I think every content creator would probably agree with this, is you gotta strike while the iron's hot, right? That saying really does kind of resonate with this job, because in the entertainment industry, since it's based largely on popularity and the success that you find from growth, you have to take advantage of it. There's candidly, there are opportunities, ideas that I've had. You see the stuff that Ludwig and those guys are doing with like live in-person events and shows and that kind of thing. I would be lying if I said that I didn't have those kind of ideas, because I absolutely have. And seeing some of that stuff, the time get squandered, really stinks. And so, yeah, I mean, there's gonna be a time when I'm done. As far as the timeline, I don't know. I firmly intend. I mean, even the making of this Q&A video, granted, it might be a little bit late. Sorry about that. There's just so much more that I think that I can devote and give back to the people that have supported me for so long. I think right now the biggest challenge is diving through the mental reset we're going through and figuring out the best way to approach that. Comet Spider said, is the change permanent, or will you go back to Twitch? I got a little bit confused. Comet Spider, for the foreseeable future, the change is permanent, my man. There's too many opportunities, too much, the quality improvements, and being able to build a platform like this, as the live side of YouTube, and feeling like my time is being well spent here. There's a lot of that going around right now that I do feel like on the back end, I'm getting solid positive feedback from YouTube that I'm thoroughly enjoying. I loved my time on Twitch and everything that happened on the platform and the memories that we built there. But thankfully, as a wise man once said, it's about supporting creators, not about supporting platforms specifically. And I think a lot of people have shown that with, I mean, look at Ludwig. He's got the yard. He's got the shows he's been doing. He streamed on Twitch and moved to YouTube. He's found a ton of success on the YouTube side of things. It's about the content that people are delivering and less about the platform itself. That being said, I don't know what the future holds, right? Things could change with YouTube. Things could change with Twitch. Everything's kind of up in the air. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm enjoying my time here so far. We just got to keep on that grind, you know? Sultana asked, this is a little different, but what as a community can we do? How can we ensure that this excitement that you're feeling continues? More sharing your VODs, more likes. How can we help you? I think the biggest thing is engagement. I don't understand 100% of the behind the scenes stuff, the algorithm and the way that it prefers one side over the other and pushes certain content and what kind of stuff shows up at the front of the recommended. I know that that's a big driver for viewership, for people discovering what you're doing. Every time you come in a stream, if you hit the like button, that helps, because as far as I know, the more likes, the faster they show up, the more likely it is to get pushed and recommended. I see other people's streams that have thousands and thousands, and I know that those show up in the recommended list at the top a lot, which is great for them. But I think that that's a big piece of it. Commenting on the VODs afterwards any of those kind of engagements, notifications being turned on, if that's a thing that you want to do. Like, you could hit the like button on this and turn notifications on and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. A lot of it is about word of mouth and just like telling other people about silly stuff that we're doing on stream. If it's stuff that you like and you think there might be people that also like it, do the social media stuff. You know, that I think that's the easiest way. You don't have to ever spend a dime. You don't have to be a member. You don't have to hit the join button. You don't have to super chat, any of that stuff. Just being there and being engaged is one of the biggest pieces of the puzzle, I think, as far as success goes on YouTube, that we didn't really have to do a ton of on Twitch because there was no like button. There's none of that stuff, right? But here, I think the algorithm definitely benefits strongly from those kind of engagements. Tatted Ox said, my question is, with you leaving Twitch, no longer be going to TwitchCon, Twitch-based events, where can we meet you in person? I was at the Tim the Tatman tailgate. I was at the GCX event down in Tampa, Florida. Those kind of things, I still fully intend to go those. And actually, you can't really count TwitchCon out depending on how things go, because I might not be on Twitch, but I still have a ton of appreciation for the people that do stream on the platform. I have a ton of friends that still work at Twitch. It's not like I'm ostracized or banned from the event or anything like that. I didn't do anything to get myself in trouble. Yeah, I think there's definitely still going to be opportunities in person to be able to meet up with people, because one of my favorite things about those kind of events is be able to put a face to a name. Because right now, every day, day in and day out, you guys are lines of text. I think a lot of people kind of lose themselves if they don't have a person to look at on the other side. And so for me, going to those events and meeting people in person is one of the biggest, most beneficial pieces of like viewer interaction, because it reminds me that there are human beings behind the things that you say in chat. The last thing I ever want to do is forget that. Next up is the business side of things. I believe this is the last section of questions that you guys submitted in the community post. Let's take a look. How does this stuff work from the business side? Is leaving Twitch the same way you leave a job, such as you gave notice and then split, or did they find out the same time that we did? You have several other offers from multiple platforms. One of the things about this job that I've started to understand more is I think you should view streamers as it's not the same, but this is don't go in on me for this. Kind of like the same way that professional athletes are viewed. You know, their contract ends and they decide to go somewhere else. It's like getting traded, right? And there's a certain amount of money that's paid and that kind of thing to sign them to move to a different platform. It's not really like I didn't put in my 2 weeks, so to say. I guess I kind of did. Now that I think about it, is when Twitch and YouTube and Facebook, you know, the major platforms for certain content creators will extend these offers, and there's behind the scenes conversations that quite literally happen for months. And it can legitimately get pretty tiring, and it's very stressful because the decision to move where you're like reliably located, and people are like, oh yeah, I haven't seen you live, Doc. What happened? I mean, there's still people that show up in other people's chats. They're like, hey, did you quit streaming? Because I haven't seen you live on Twitch in months. I'm like, oh, I left. So it is an interesting situation that I found myself in, trying to work through the mental hoops, the jumps to say, yeah, I'm leaving Twitch. But then you also are under NDA, so you can't disclose exact times and dates and stuff like that, because you don't want to burn the platform you're leaving. You don't want to burn bridges there. We might meme and joke about Twitch on stream sometimes, which I think they're understanding about. But at the end of the day, there's still always an opportunity, a chance that I would go back. And so the last thing I wanted to do is, like, the second we sign with YouTube, say, all right, well, F you guys, peace, chat, don't sub anymore, don't do any of this stuff. You know, screw this platform, we're out. Nobody's going to do that, because we don't want to, as silly as it sounds, we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings on the business side of things. This is from Chris. What were the logistics involved in moving platforms in such a short period of time? I had to learn how to use their dashboard in like a day. It was rough. That first day, actually, we were doing really well, and then the stream died, and I had to remake it because I wasn't doing the scheduled stream thing. I was just doing like the on-the-fly one, and it does not like that. So if you have like an issue, if you do it the wrong way, when the stream goes down, it literally ends the video, and you have to remake the stream. It's just really wacky. It was like that. The adjustment period was difficult. And then as time went on, we started testing higher bitrate and higher resolution. I think HDR might be soon. But yeah, on the fly, it was tough. It was very tough. It was very fast. Question here says, how have your sponsors felt about your move to YouTube? Are they excited, hesitant? Did any of them pull away their support because they thought the YouTube platform wasn't big enough? How do they feel about the move? Let's start there. Fine. Because I think the expectation, the hope was that things would not change, that it would be advertising the same size audience, same number of people, concurrent viewership would be similar, and so forth. Did any of them pull away their support because they thought the YouTube platform wasn't big enough? I wish I could give you a correct response to that, a good response. Things always change. Things are always in the ebb and flow of content creation and popularity. I'd be lying if I said that my my viewership has gone up. It hasn't. It's gone down as on average, but typically that's what happens at first when you move platforms. The more time you spend, the more time you put into it, the more effort you give. I think that can change. But yeah, some companies have moved away. They don't ever really tell you why they do. I've had a couple NZXT and Samsung and State Farm. Things have changed, and I don't really know why. I wish I could tell you why that those companies had taken a step away. Is it because of viewership? Potentially. I mean, it would be silly to not consider that as one of the options. But yeah, it's an interesting thing to think about, and I wish I knew more about the reasoning for some people stepping away. The other side of that, though, is like Verizon and Logitech and Intel and Secret Lab and Gillette and all these other companies that we work with are hugely supportive and 100% on board. And it's like, sick. Let's keep going. Let's just keep the train rolling and figure out what we can do bigger and better each time. Kevin Rosales asked, wondering what motivated you to jeopardize a stable job and follow your dreams. A long time ago, I've actually never told anybody this. I think it's time. I think it's finally time. Kevin, this is a good question. A long time ago when I first started streaming, I had a stable job, like you said. I worked as a senior systems engineer for a long time. I climbed the corporate IT ladder and did all those things. I got certified in a couple things. I learned to program and code. I learned virtual machine automation and VMware stuff left and right. I got super involved in system administration for Windows and Linux servers. But on the side, I started streaming Destiny 1 with a friend of mine, Brian, Ninja with Noel, not Ninja, but there's a lot of ninjas in my life. 2 of them specifically, which is like way more than I think I ever anticipated. When I've never told anybody this. This has actually been a thing. I just haven't ever brought it up, but you're gonna laugh. I streamed for a couple years on the weekends, doing trials runs and stuff in Destiny in the evenings. And then Fridays was when trials started up. I would jump in because I would work from home that day, and we would do runs and stuff and all that. Well, Kevin, on my 30th birthday, I actually got fired from my job. And it was because someone watching had figured out where I worked, contacted HR, and let them know that while on the clock there, that I was streaming on Twitch at the same time. Which, obviously, looking back at it, huge mistake. Shouldn't have done that. It was very stupid. But luckily, we had already been kind of planning the lead up into me transitioning away from that job regardless. My wife was a huge supporter of saying, hey, you're only going to get one shot at this, so you might as well go for it. One thing led to another, and there was kind of like just the switch was, it was like you're skydiving, and instead of me being the one in control of jumping out, I got kicked in the back. That being said, holy crap, did it work out for me in a huge way. And I do often wonder, I don't know who it was. And it's so funny to me to think about this, but somebody out there that wanted to get, a little shot in on me actually is the reason, probably one of the biggest reasons that I'm here right now, which is really wacky to think about. And I don't like thinking about it too much because the amount of like stars aligning for that to work out exactly right, it's a lot. But that's another reason why I always tell people to always have a backup plan. Always have something else that you can fall back to. Full sending into streaming is not a guarantee. It's one of the scariest things that I think I ever did because of the situation that I found myself in. And I'm really glad that you asked that question. It's a big one. There's a ton of other questions that were posted on the community post. I think I went through and responded to a majority of them because there were a lot of similar or duplicate style ones about different content creators, stuff like that. And it's been a year here on YouTube, and I am excited to see what we can do going forward. How are we gonna innovate and create new, better, more engaging content? What kind of off-stream stuff am I going to be able to record and put up? And things like the little tournament of pain I did in Tarkov and more stuff like that happens off-stream that you guys have an opportunity to watch when you have some free time in the extended channel. There's a lot in store. I'm going to try my hardest to produce something that I think is worth watching, that people will enjoy, and will keep people coming back. So if you watched all the way to the end of this video, thank you very much. Please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button on both the main channel and the second. If you like the video, hit the like button, and do me a favor. If you are a member of the channel, go keep your eyes on the community section of the main channel, because we're going to gather videos that people submit they want me to watch and react to on stream. And we're going to do a monthly, maybe bi-monthly react videos, because I think right now that is one of the biggest things that I see people doing on other channels that is hugely beneficial. So you know what? We might as well jump on board. Thanks, Steph, for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Peace, y'all.